April 13th, 2023. A chilly Thursday night in Kansas City, Missouri. The streets are quiet. A spring wind rustles through the leaves. 16-year-old Ralph Yarl has just finished a long day of school and music practice. He's on a mission, picking up his younger twin brothers from a friend's house. But Ralph makes a simple mistake. He punches in the wrong address. Instead of 115th Terrace, he arrives at 115th Street. He steps out of the car, walks up to the front porch, and knocks once, then again. Moments later, gunfire. Gunfire.
Shots fired. One male, possibly juvenile, down. Gunshot wound to the head.
Ralph Yarl is lying in a pool of blood, shot through the forehead and the arm. The shooter? 84-year-old Andrew Lester, a retired aircraft mechanic, inside his home, alone. According to Lester, he felt threatened. He says he believed Ralph was trying to break in. But Ralph never tried to open the door. He just knocked.
I never even touched the doorknob. I waited, then everything went black.
Neighbors rushed to help. But Lester doesn't. He calls 911, but doesn't leave the house.
I heard a bang, then another. I came outside and saw this boy, bleeding. He couldn't talk. He just looked at me with these eyes, terrified.
Ralph is rushed to the hospital. Somehow, he survives.
It's a miracle. The bullet grazed his brain, but he's conscious, responsive, talking.
The community is outraged. Protests erupt. Why was Ralph shot? He was unarmed, polite, a teenager. Why did Lester open fire without warning? Why was he released less than 2 hours after being taken into custody?
I was scared. He rang the doorbell. I thought he was trying to break in.
Did he say anything? Did he threaten you?
No, but he was a big kid, and he didn't belong there.
The words echo. Didn't belong there. Was it fear? Or something more? Ralph is black. Lester is white. Prosecutors charge Lester days later with assault in the first degree and armed criminal action. But the delay triggers outrage.
If roles were reversed, this would have been treated very differently. The system failed Ralph from the beginning.
The investigation reveals more questions. Lester kept multiple firearms, no history of mental illness, no criminal record. But in his home, investigators found disturbing materials, articles clipped about home invasions, notes scribbled with phrases like "stand your ground," and a journal entry written weeks before the shooting. People knock on your door to rob you. Trust no one. If I feel unsafe, I shoot. Still, Lester pleads not guilty. His family says he was on edge, confused. But Ralph remembers everything.
I knocked, I waited, that's it. I don't understand. Why?
A simple mistake. The wrong door. No charges of attempted murder. No hate crime enhancements. The case goes to trial. But delays, motions, and legal maneuvering stretch the process. Months pass. The public waits. Some call it self-defense. Others, attempted execution. But one question remains unanswered. What did Ralph see in those final seconds before the bullet shattered his skull? We may never know. He knocked at the wrong door and never made it home. This is Vanished Whispers, True Crime. If you want justice, if you want truth, subscribe now. And never miss what they don't want you to see.
Darkness presses in from every side. Shadows swallow the street, and something unseen lingers just out of frame. Close-ups, trembling hands, faces half hidden in darkness, eyes darting, uncertain. Fear is contagious here. Folders slam open, evidence scattered, pages flickering in the dim light. Names and details are redacted, blacked out. Police transcripts stutter across the screen. Voices overlap, statements contradict. Evidence photos flicker, faces blurred beyond recognition. A neighbor's voice distorted by static. I heard shouting, or maybe it was just the wind. Then, a bang, or was it something else? I looked out, someone running, face lost in darkness. I blinked, and they were gone. I didn't want to get involved, not after what happened last time. Police interview, voices muffled, faces obscured. Did you see Ralph with anything in his hands? Silence stretches. Witness. No, just keys. Maybe a phone. He looked scared, or maybe I was the one who was scared. Transcript flickers. 911. Caller. There's a kid on my porch. He's bleeding. I think he's dying. He's saying, "Help me, please." But the line crackles and the words fade. Dispatch. Is the shooter still there? The answer never comes. Caller. I don't know. He's just lying there. I can't see his face. Flashes. Blood-stained welcome mat, a shoe left behind, a door left ajar. A bullet casing glints under a flickering flashlight. No fingerprints, no answers. Detective. Did Mr. Lester say anything after the shooting? The witness hesitates, voice trembling. Officer. He said, "I thought he was breaking in. I had to protect myself." But his eyes never met mine. But the door wasn't broken. The chain was still on. The lock untouched. Lester's journal, scrawled handwriting, words underlined in anger. Can't trust anyone. Not anymore. The world's changed. Better to shoot first, ask later. The page trembles in the flickering light. The camera lingers on Ralph's school photo, his smile blurred, eyes lost in shadow. Then, a silent frame. The wrong door, half open, darkness yawning beyond. Did someone just move inside? Unsettling questions echo. Why did Lester shoot before the door opened? Why was help so slow to come? What about the missing security footage? Erased or never recorded? Who's hiding in the gaps? As the music swells, the screen flickers. An unanswered phone rings in the dark. The camera lingers on the door, left ajar. Someone or something waits in the shadows. Justice feels distant, the truth even further. In the darkness, a question hangs. What are we missing? Stay with us. The shadows haven't told their last secret. Not yet. A single knock echoes in the silence. A sound replayed, slowed, dissected. The screen flickers between two timelines. The night of the shooting and the investigation days later. Dramatic lighting casts long shadows over a newly discovered phone. Ralph's, found wedged beneath the porch steps, screen cracked, but still recording. Cut in close. A blurred video clip plays, capturing muffled voices on the other side of the wrong door. A faint, urgent plea. "It's me, Ralph. Please, let me in." The audio distorts, a scuffle, then silence. A new witness steps forward, face hidden. Their voice is uncertain. "I saw someone else. Not Ralph, not Lester. Someone waiting by the side of the house. They left before the police came." The camera zooms on a partial footprint in the mud, smaller than Lester's boots, not matching Ralph's sneakers. A detective's voice overlays, "Security footage from the neighbor's house, missing 5 crucial minutes. The system malfunctioned, or so we're told." The shot lingers on a tangled mess of wires at the fence line, frayed as if torn by deliberate hands. The screen fills with conflicting statements. Lester's claim of a forced entry, the intact chain on the door, the neighbor's uncertain timeline. Each piece of evidence illuminated, then cast into ambiguity by dramatic shadows. Slow zoom on Ralph's cracked phone, its last frame frozen on a notification. An unread message from an unknown number. "Don't go to the house." The music swells, then fades to a low, uneasy hum. The final shot, the wrong door, half open, darkness yawning beyond. No answers, only questions. What really happened that night? Who else was there? And what secrets still hide in the shadows? Stay with us. The truth is still knocking. A new chapter unfolds as shadows deepen around the truth. Police files slide into view. Evidence bags labeled, fingerprints dusted, and faces blurred for protection. The camera pans across a table strewn with transcripts, each page marked with redactions and contradictions. Cut to a tense police interview. The neighbor, voice altered and face obscured, sits across from detectives. Their hands tremble as they recount the night. "I heard shouting, then a loud bang. When I looked out, I saw someone, not Ralph, not Lester, running into the alley. They moved fast, hunched, like they didn't want to be seen." Detective's voice, calm but pressing. "Can you describe them? Anything at all?" A pause. The neighbor shakes their head. "It was dark. All I saw was a shadow." The video shifts. A grainy security camera freeze frame of a fleeting silhouette. Overlay of footage inconclusive. Next, a transcript excerpt appears on screen, lines highlighted. 911, what's your emergency? There's someone at the door. They're banging, saying they need help. I think something bad happened. Please, hurry. Can you see who it is? No, it's too dark. They're gone now. Wait, someone's running. I don't know who. The music pulses, growing more urgent as we see evidence photos, muddy footprints, a torn scrap of fabric, a phone with a shattered screen. Documents flicker past, key details blacked out. A final question lingers, the word Stark against a black screen. If everyone saw something different, who is telling the truth? A chill settles over the scene. The answers remain just out of reach, hidden in the shadows of testimony. A harsh fluorescent light flickers over the crime lab. Shadows stretch across the walls, swallowing the faces of those inside. Close-ups reveal gloved hands sifting through evidence, each item more puzzling than the last. A blood-stained key, a torn scrap of fabric, a phone, shattered. Pages stamped preliminary analysis are scattered across the table. The words blur as detectives argue in hushed tones. A partial fingerprint, marked unknown, sits at the center of it all. It matches no one in the case file. The blood-stained key rotates under the lens, its origin a mystery. One detective mutters, "This doesn't fit any door in the building." Another detective, voice tight with suspicion. "And these fingerprints, they don't match Lester, Ralph, or the neighbor." The room grows colder. So who was here? The question hangs, unanswered, as eyes dart to the shadows at the edge of the room. A transcript overlay flickers on screen. Detective 1. How did this get missed in the first sweep? Detective 2. It was wedged behind the radiator. Someone wanted it hidden. Crime scene photos flash. Muddy footprints, a broken phone bagged and tagged, the torn fabric pinned to an evidence board. Each clue deepens the confusion. Detectives cluster around the board, lines of string connecting scattered clues. Their faces are tense, eyes flicking to the corners as if expecting someone or something to emerge. A new witness statement appears, voice trembling. "I saw someone leave through the back, but it wasn't who the others said. They wore a blue jacket, not black. I'm certain." The detectives exchange uneasy glances. Motives shift. Suspects multiply. The case is spiraling out of control. A final montage. Conflicting reports, redacted files, the mysterious key flashes by in quick succession. The evidence board fills with more questions than answers. The camera lingers on the detectives' worried faces. Tension crackles in the air, thick as fog. The truth, it seems, is buried deeper than anyone thought. Somewhere in the shadows, danger still lurks, unseen, unresolved. A digital clock ticks past midnight as the camera pans across a wall of monitors, most flickering with static. One ominously black. A newly uncovered police transcript fades in. We're missing footage between 11:47 and 12:13. That's, 26 minutes unaccounted for? And the backup drive? Gone. Someone knew exactly what they were doing. Cut to a shaky cell phone video. I saw a man by the service entrance. He was messing with the camera. Wearing gloves, moving fast. It wasn't anyone I recognized. The screen flickers to a close-up of a broken camera, its lens shattered, wires exposed. A timeline board appears, segments marked in red. The detective's hands trace the gaps, tension mounting. We can't prove who was here if we don't have eyes on the door. But why risk disabling the cameras unless you had something to hide? Glitchy footage rewinds and loops shadows dart across a corridor, then vanish into a digital void. The evidence board grows more chaotic strings, now linking the missing minutes to the mysterious key. The blue jacket, the bloody footprints. The camera lingers on the detectives' troubled faces, uncertainty etched deep. With the timeline fractured and footage lost, the case teeters on the edge of darkness. What happened in those missing minutes? And will the truth ever come to light? As the investigation stalls in the present, the shadows of the past begin to stir. Old photographs fade in. A young Ralph in a faded uniform, standing beside a stern father. Lester as a boy clutching a blue backpack, eyes wide with hope and fear. Witness faces, caught in fleeting moments of joy and sorrow. A file opens, Ralph's personnel record. Voice clips echo. He always wanted to protect, but sometimes his temper. Cut to a memory. Ralph breaking up a fight at a high school, his own hands trembling, haunted by memories of violence at home. His voice, softer now. I promised I'd never let fear control me. We drift to Lester's childhood home, Peeling paint and laughter muffled by shouting behind closed doors. A counselor's notes overlay the scene. Struggles with trust, seeks approval, quick to run when cornered. Lester's hands, now adult, fumble with a key, the same key from the evidence board. His mother's voice in the background. Don't let them see you're scared, Les. The witnesses aren't immune to the past's grip. A grainy yearbook photo reveals two of them were classmates. One, now a bystander, once saved the other from a bully. Their shared glance at the scene of the shooting holds decades of unspoken history. Strings on the evidence board now stretch backward, tying together childhood scars, lost friendships, and silent promises. Each character's actions that night begin to make sense, not as random choices, but as echoes of old wounds and tangled loyalties. The camera lingers on their faces, past and present overlapping, as the truth grows more complicated and more human. In the end, it's not just about what happened in the missing minutes, but about the lives that collided, shaped by everything that came before. The air is thick with anticipation as the key players gather in a dimly lit community center. Ralph, Lester, the witnesses, and the lead investigator's shadows flicker across anxious faces. No one speaks at first. The silence is heavy, filled with all that's been left unsaid. A chair scrapes. One of the witnesses, Maya, who until now has barely spoken, rises, voice trembling. "There's something I didn't tell you," she says, eyes darting between Ralph and Lester. The room tenses. She recounts the moment she saw Lester hesitate at the door, the fear in his eyes and Ralph's voice, shaken, not angry, pleading for calm. "I heard Ralph say, 'Please, let's not do this,' and I was scared, so I stayed quiet." Her confession ripples through the room, shattering old assumptions. Ralph's shoulders sag, a mix of relief and regret washing over him. Lester's jaw clenches, memories surfacing. The investigator leans forward, voice low. "Why didn't you tell us before?" Maya's answer hangs in the air. "I was afraid. Of choosing sides. Of what people would think." The tension breaks. Ralph admits his own failings, voice cracking. "I let my fear get the better of me. I saw my father's anger in myself that night, and I hated it." Lester, tears in his eyes, confesses the weight of always running, always expecting the worst. Other witnesses chime in, biases, regrets, and truths spilling out, raw and unfiltered. The confrontation is messy voices overlapping, old wounds laid bare. But as secrets unravel, so does the knot of misunderstanding at the heart of the case. The path to justice is no longer about blame or absolution. It's about honesty, healing, and the hope that, together, they can finally face the truth. The camera pulls back, capturing the group, fractured but finally talking. For the first time, there's a sense that the story might not end in tragedy, but in understanding. The air is thick with unease. Confessions still hang in the room, unsettled dust swirling in the dim light. Suddenly, the investigator's phone rings, sharp, insistent, slicing through the silence. In a shadowed office, away from the chaos, tension crackles as a battered cassette recorder is placed on the desk. The officer's hands tremble. "We found this," she whispers, eyes wide with dread. "Hidden behind the radiator, the night of the shooting." The evidence is undeniable. The cassette, cold, silent, waits to reveal its secrets. The investigator's gloved hands load the tape, every movement deliberate, the room breathless. A click. The tape spins. Shadows flicker across anxious faces. Static erupts, then muffled voices, urgent, panicked. An argument, footsteps, a door slamming. The room leans in. A familiar voice, Lester's, cracks through the noise. "If you open that door, it's all over." Silence. Then Ralph, barely audible. "We can't keep running. Someone will get hurt." Suddenly, a third voice, cold, unfamiliar, cuts in. "Stay out of it. This isn't your fight." The tape dissolves into static. The room is frozen, every face pale with shock. The investigator rewinds, replaying the chilling words. A third person, never seen, never named, was there. Old alliances fracture, suspicion flickers in every glance. Who is the third voice? What did they see? What are they hiding? The camera lingers on the spinning reels, the evidence that shatters everything they thought they knew. For the first time, the truth feels impossibly close, and yet more elusive than ever. The final shot, a slow, haunting zoom on the evidence board, unanswered questions burning in red. Some secrets, it seems, may never be revealed. The air is thick with anticipation, but this time, hope stirs beneath the surface. The community gathers, hearts pounding, ready to face the truth together. As the truth finally emerges from the shadows, sunlight pours through the windows, illuminating faces once marked by fear, now softened by understanding. Under the weight of new evidence, old wounds begin to heal. The third voice, Mrs. Hargrove, steps forward, her eyes brimming with tears. She confesses, her voice trembling, but the room listens with compassion, not judgment. Her confession is quiet but steady, filling in the last painful gaps and freeing the truth at last. She speaks of a desperate attempt to protect her son and the burden she carried alone. As she finishes, a gentle hush falls. One by one, neighbors reach out, hands clasp, arms embrace, and forgiveness flows freely. The community gathers in the town hall, faces drawn with exhaustion, but also relief and gratitude. Smiles break through tears as families reunite, and friends find comfort in each other's presence. Relief washes over the room, a sense of closure settling in. Hands join, old and young, black and white, reminding everyone that justice, in its many forms, is possible when hearts are open. Lester, once feared, is now understood, a man shaped by fear but not defined by it. He stands, shoulders trembling as Ralph approaches him. In a moment of courage, Ralph extends his hand. Lester takes it, and the room exhales. A lifetime of pain released in a single gesture of forgiveness. Ralph, his conscience laid bare, is embraced by his family. Forgiveness softening old wounds. Mrs. Hargrove's tears are met with empathy, her accountability opening a path to healing for all. The camera pans across the faces of those affected, each marked by the events of that fateful night, yet united in a shared resolve to move forward. Laughter rises, tentative at first, then growing, echoing through the hall as sunlight bathes the group in golden light. The investigator closes her notebook, a faint smile breaking through as the weight of unanswered questions lifts. The community, forever changed, steps outside together. Faces turn to the sun, ready to rebuild not by forgetting, but by remembering and choosing compassion over suspicion. In the final moments, sunlight floods the once shadowed hallway, illuminating the spot where the cassette was found. The narrator's words linger. In the aftermath of darkness, truth brings not just answers, but the chance to heal. In facing what was hidden, we find the strength to begin again. The camera pulls back to reveal the entire community, standing together in the golden light, united, hopeful, and free. The screen fades not to black, but to brilliant white, leaving viewers with a powerful reminder. Even a single night can echo for years, but so can forgiveness and hope. If you found healing in this story, subscribe for more true crime journeys that reveal not just the darkness, but the light we can find together.